A pleasant morning to you. It's your breakfast show again on the Channels TV 416 on Moplex. I am happy to be on the show again today. I hope you're happy to be at work, the office, or you are with your phone at wherever place you might be right now. I welcome you to today's program on the breakfast show. As you know that there are a lot of trending stories, especially in the political space. A lot is happening, from people looting the warehouse to people talking about the economic hardship and a lot of other stories that have been making rounds. What I was serving you on the breakfast show today, Channels TV 416 on Moplex. We are here. Don't go nowhere because we have a lot to talk to you about. Yes, from the headlines on the newspaper today, there is the talk of minimum wage, and from that of yesterday, some people are arguing. A talk is still ongoing on the social media. A lot of people are saying that the president is not supposed to have talked to people or the investors of Qatar to report any official that seeks for bribe. In your own word, as you're watching live on YouTube and Facebook, please leave a message. Do you think the president was right to have used that statement? What is your take concerning that? But if you ask me, I would not really fault the president, as we know that Nigeria has always been in the news for issues of bribe, corruption, and even as the citizens of Nigeria, we know how to put ourselves on the social media for the wrong reasons. We are always criticizing, we are always saying all sorts of bad things about our nation, and therefore, if someone from Qatar could complain or could have mentioned that, and the president is saying, if you find something like that, if you find anyone who seeks bribe, just report the person. To some people, the president shouldn't have made that a national statement, or shouldn't have even mentioned at all, because he knew that that word alone can make headlines and is not good for the image of Nigeria. But whatever the case may be, let us as Nigerian citizens be up and doing. Let's obey the rules and laws of the land. Let's do what is expected of us as citizens of Nigeria. Okay, before I forget, I am Toke Bravo, and I welcome you once again to Channels TV Breakfast Show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this short break. Welcome back. It's still the Channels TV Breakfast Show, and we're going straight into the stories. Some lucky stories that made it to the headlines today. There are a lot of stories on the internet, on the online news, and a lot of them didn't find the grace to appear on the front pages of the newspaper. So we are taking some of the lucky stories that made it to the front pages of the newspaper. I am starting with the Guardian. 198,432 pending court cases leave many in jail. Businesses stranded. Stop proliferation of arms, light weapons, Tinubu tax AU and UN. You find that story on the Guardian newspaper. Monetary tools can't solve food price crisis. Additional insists. Monetary tools can't solve food price crisis. If you want to know more about the stories, I think you should get the Guardian newspaper to get the full details that is coming from Additional. Yes, we have another one here. Furore over new tax regime. Stiffer enforcement in Enugu. What is the tax that is coming up in the Enugu region of the country? If you want to know about that, please go to the Guardian newspaper to read more about it. Federal government to begin grains distribution. Insists warehouse looting criminal beyond hunger. I support this. Federal government is insisting that it is not hunger that is making people loot the warehouse. Let's talk about that. If people loot the warehouse and they take all this food, is it for the purpose of consumption? Are they taking it back to the market? What about the people who own these warehouses? Why did they stock them in the first place? So if you are doing this, please, and if truly you are hungry, like I said earlier yesterday on the show, you can simply walk into your local government. The federal government have been fair enough to distribute palliative through the state governors. You can always walk to your local government and tell them, please, I am hungry. And the food that was sent to this local government, I didn't get mine. I have come from this help. I know no one will push you out because you are doing what is right as a citizen. And then I continue. Review around SAE report before implementation. Civil servant tells federal government. I think this is on the report from the 2012 during Goodluck Jonathan regime, that some civil parastatals should be meshed, and this person is saying the civil servants are actually advising the federal government that they should review it properly before they think of using that report. Looting food warehouse reflection of hunger frustration of Nigerians, says INC. That's another angle of the story. Some people see it says that people are looting the warehouse because of hunger. But whatever the case may be, looting shouldn't be the next thing. It does not speak well of our image as Nigerians. Like I said earlier, let's look for other ways to do it, as there could be other need why government has actually put those foods in those warehouses, and some of these warehouses has been reported to be private warehouses. We go to the next newspaper, which is the Punch. Please, my director, take note. The Punch newspaper. We're going straight to the stories that makes it to the front page of the Punch newspaper. AFDP plans $2.7 billion budget agri loans for Nigeria. We hear about all this money, giving loans, distributing to farmers and all. But to what effect? How many of these farmers, if all these loans that have been granted in the past are actually being utilized judiciously, by now we are not supposed to suffer for food and some other things. Oh, don't forget insecurity issues, don't forget banditry, don't forget some other issues that we might be having, and some people are being forced out of their livelihood. Farmers have stopped farming. So if we have to criticize, we have to balance our argument. AFDB plans $2.7 billion budget agri close for Nigeria. You find the story on page 26 of the Punch newspaper. Dangote names refinery road after Wigwe. He renamed his refinery road after Wigwe. That's sweet. Approach Zimbabwe for solution to inflation. Obasanjo tells federal government. This is, to me, this is derogatory. Approach Zimbabwe for solution to inflation. Obasanjo tells federal government. In other words, I think to him, the federal government is not doing enough, or what has Zimbabwe done differently that he wants the federal government to learn from. OPS warns of shutdown as hoodlums loot more trucks. Building materials, spaghetti trucks attacked in Ogun. Kaduna, 15 arrested in Abuja. Federal government condemns warehouse looting. Kano stores evacuate wares. States to get free grains. You see, that's the effect when warehouses are being attacked. Some warehouse owners are already evacuating their wares, and that can actually be a lasting solution to this looting of a thing. Banks involved in 70% of financial crimes. EFCC. If EFCC is coming out to say our bankers, our banking institutions are involved, 70% are involved in financial crimes, that means we are not safe out here. If people we entrust our money with are actually not to be trusted, what can we say? What can we say? Why do we have corruption in all parastatals? Why do we have corruption in all parastatals? Can't we just find a parastatal that will make us happy as Nigerians? So you see, everywhere there is decadence of attitude, decadence of policies everywhere in the country. You cannot say one place is safe. Banks involved in 70% of financial crimes. coming from EFCC. That is tough. And SCDC, Tompolo, men raise Ondo oil thieves hideout. Another bad news. Another bad news. Another bad one. We're crying. Subsidy removal has brought us, we already facing economy hardship, and we still have thieves all around. We have thieves stealing the crude that is not even enough. Same name, NCC defense. Same name, NCC defense blocking of phone lines. Lawyer slams 10 billion naira suit. That story is in the Punch. If you want to know more about it, please visit the Punch newspaper. As we move to the next paper, which is the Nation Aspirant. Ayedatiwa. My OD, please take note. This is from yesterday. This is from yesterday. This is from yesterday. Oh, while we come up with the Nation newspaper, there is something that is ongoing right now concerning the minimum wage. The minimum wage is on the Nation newspaper today. On the Nation newspaper today, we have the minimum wage. Yes, on the Nation newspaper for today, the minimum wage. I love something that the government have done, that they are not actually going to end the talk with the committees alone. It has been extended to the 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria. That means they will take it from every political zones and get to hear from civil servants, business owners, and the others before they can reach a conclusion and agree on what the minimum wage should be. If every key player is being taken along, you cannot come back and say, because we are private business owners, we cannot pay our staff so amount of money because we are private business owners. We cannot do this, we cannot do that. And states also can weigh their pros and cons at this time so as to know what they would be able, the feasible amount that they can give to the civil servants, that they can pay out as minimum wage. Minimum wage is very crucial at this time. It's very, very crucial because there is economic hardship, there is hunger in the land, there is artificial inflation. Even though some people believe the inflation is real, but to some of us who have been reading and following, we believe that some people are actually, because at a time like this, if you go into the market and do 1 or 2 reports, you will see that people just want to add up the amount by themselves. There was a downfall in dollar. At times it rises, at times it will fall again. When it falls, you don't see these prices coming down. So I believe that most of these things that we are going through right now is actually, most of it can be attributed to artificial inflation. And who does all this? It still boils down to us as Nigerians. There was a day I wanted to buy something just in the past week, and the businessman was telling his boy that, do you know that thing you're selling for as low as 3,000 can be 6,000, and you are selling it 3,000 naira? And I asked him, but this 3,000 you are selling is the main price, right? You have not bought another carton. You have not gone to the market to get another, but you want to inflate this one. He said the answer he gave me was, I am not your brother. Your brother is the president, meaning that your brother is a Yoruba man. Definitely, I should suffer for what I don't know about. So this is where I am coming from. If traders, if people at the ends of little things that concerns food and all can just take their time, to do the right thing, to know when it's good to add to the price, and not just take prices into their hand and say, okay, I will take this one this time, I will add to it tomorrow, I will add to it next tomorrow, because there is inflation in the country. So you just want to increase the price. And what happens when eventually something come up and all the prices falls? You will still bear the consequences, because nobody will buy at that rate again. Okay, Nigerian Tribune. Nigerian future was sold under last administration. Plateau governor. Looting Federal Capital Territory Authority to establish police posts in warehouses. You see, because of what happened on Saturday, the looting of NEMA, National Emergency Management Agencies, the Federal Capital Territory Authority is planning to establish police posts in warehouses. Federal government to begin distribution of grains nationwide. That's on page 6 of the Nigerian Tribune. And on the banner headline, my OD, please take note. Obaseki warns of tougher times ahead. Says Nigeria must focus on production. Discourage dollarization of economy. Average retail price of refilling 5 kg cooking gas. It's 5,139 Naira 25 kobo. That is coming from MBS. Ukraine's grain donation to Nigeria disheartening. That is coming from Obi. Obi says, how can Ukraine, a city, a country that is going through war, still remembers to dash Nigerians some grains? How is that so disheartening? To him is very bad. It's very bad. And our leaders should step up. If you want to know more about that Obi stories, it's on the page 15 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Or your health workers begin 7-day strike. Or your health workers begin 7-day strike. Everywhere is hot. Everywhere is hot. Everywhere is hot. And I think health workers in Oyo State will have their demand. And whatever the demand may be, they have a vibrant governor there who can actually go through their request. And at the end of the day, the people, the sick people in their wards should also be considered. Oil theft. Navy naps Ghanaian vessel. 13 crew members were also arrested. Akeredolu's wife knees at loggerheads over support for Ayedatiwa. And lastly, on the Nigerian Tribune, PDP Ondo stakeholders brainstorms over Cuba poll. Party releases timetable. Holds primary on April 25th. And on to the next paper, I am still waiting for the Nation newspaper for today that talks about the minimum wage. Like I said, if you are a key player and you know that you are concerned particularly about this minimum wage, please, the meeting will hold at the Blue Roof LTV. Please make sure you go there. The Wale Edu is also going to share this meeting. They want all key players of opera starters to be there so that they can actually take cognizance of every point that will be raised before giving a last decision on what the minimum wage should be. Thank you for joining us. It has been the CA Channels TV breakfast show and the paper review today. Don't stop watching on YouTube and Facebook and live on Moplex 416. As we come again your way tomorrow, be good. Remember to be a good citizen. If you want a better Nigeria, you want Nigeria to be one of the best nations, please, it starts with you and I. Obey the rules. Obey the laws of the land. Do not take the law into your own hands. Good Nigeria starts with you and I. On this note, I say bye-bye. Until I see you tomorrow again, I remain my humble self, Toke Bravo. It's a bye-bye on today's show.